Greetings, YouTubers. This is Efren with EQE3 Enterprises, coming at you with another episode of what I'm hoping to be a long series of how I see things. Today, I'm going to comment on and give my opinions, etc. on why Apple is so expensive. And I know this has been gone over before, but this is my opinions and how I see it. You know, I don't own a Mac or an Apple. Wouldn't mind owning one someday. Thanks to Chris Pirillo and other people I watch videos on who have Macs, I'm starting to grow on me, so maybe if I had the wherewithal, I'd get one. So, basically how I see it, first and foremost, Apple is a monopoly. You don't get an Apple computer unless you buy it from Apple. I mean, there's no one making, you can throw together a Hackintosh, I guess, but that's not, that's not official Apple, obviously. And the fact that you can, instead of buying a PC all put together, the Windows on everything, you can build your own. You really can't do that with Mac, as far as I know. Apple has a very limited product line. Of course, another reason that people will pay more for it is a higher quality computer and Apple's reputation. I mean, you want to, most people are pretty much fed up with Windows. I'm a computer tech and I don't like Windows 8. But all the issues with Windows seems to help me make money, so I guess I can't complain too much. But Apple's OS 10 is more stable and runs faster than Windows, from what I understand. I don't have any experience with it, but this is what I'm hearing everywhere. And you can upgrade Macs to a degree. Frugal Tech, who also did a video on his opinions on why Mac is more expensive, just upgraded his video card in his Mac. I guess Mac Pro, the Tower. I don't know what it's called. And the fact that there's only one Apple making computers, but there's tons of PC makers making different towers and cards and motherboards and whatnot to run on PC. Of course, another good thing about it, I'm saying PC as in a Windows PC. Macintosh, Apple is a PC, a personal computer. Another thing with PCs, you can build a computer and put pretty much any operating system you want on it, short of OS 10. I guess there's a way to Hackintosh, but you can put Linux on. There's tons of flavors of Linux, and put Windows, whatever you want to put on it. But Mac is Mac. I assume there's probably versions of Linux you can put on a Mac if you wanted to. I'd have to look into that, but. You really can't buy a Mac that's bare minimum like you can with a PC. There's only a few models you can choose from. And like I said, PC, you could build it yourself, buy a bare minimum without operating system on it, and go up from there. Of course, another good thing about the Macintosh is they really don't have to worry too much about viruses like they do with Windows. Lord, so most of my computer repair calls is viruses and malware and spyware. From what I understand, Apple doesn't have that. I mean, they do have viruses, but not nearly to the extent as PCs do. There's really no compatibility issues with the iPhones, iPods, iPads. All Apple products work with Apple. You don't have to worry about getting a special driver, or like I guess with some printers, printers are kind of not the issue, but sometimes there's some issues with other devices running on Windows where the driver might not be up to snuff or whatever, so you don't have that issue with Apple. Like I said before, the reputation, that's another big reason they buy Apple. They pay a little more. And the quality. They seem to think it's the design is sleek and trendy. And apparently their customer service is apparently second to none, from what I understand, which is a good thing. I don't know where their call centers are, but I hate calling call centers of companies that are in this country with getting someone with an accent. So sometimes the accent's so thick you can't understand them. And according to some people, Macs are much easier to use than Windows. Or OS X is much easier to use than Windows, and I tend to agree with that, because it's reminiscent of the old Commodore Amiga OS 3.9. I guess they're up to what, 4.2 now, or going to come out with 4.2. That was much easier to use than the compatible Windows at the time. an Apple, and like I said, Apple OS 10 is kind of reminiscent because it's got the drop down menus from the top of the screen. So look forward to trying that someday. Of course, also what I understand, Apples are very reliable. Not to because go back to the quality of Apple, but what it really boils down to, not not specs, not usability. Well, it factors into it, but not specs, not usability, not reputation, not reliability, not the fact that it's not Windows, but the fact that it's all personal choice. Whatever is going to work best for you is the best computer for you. You can't group a bunch of people and say, this is the best computer for you, this is the best computer for you, this is the best computer for you. It doesn't work that way. You know, if they don't like, if they want to do something that, that they find easier to do on PC with Windows, or they just, like high-end gamers, you really don't do gaming on Macs, from what I understand. Some people prefer the video editing on Windows, some prefer it on Mac. I understand Mac is much easier to do video editing on. So I've got an old laptop with an old version of Adobe Premiere, and it's not bad, but I said for what I've heard, all intents and purposes, and can't remember the name of the software for Apple, but apparently it's much easier to use than what's on the PC. So, but like I said, it happens to be, like I said, it's personal choice. You can't tell people what's best for them. They have to figure out what's best for them based on what their needs are. So that's what it all boils down to. But apparently, Mac and PC and Windows PCs all have their good points and their bad points. It depends on you. And as much as I hate Windows, I'd probably rather go with a Mac rather than another Windows machine, or I can get a Windows machine and put Linux on it, which I have a Linux box that I use. But that's about it. I mean, that's, really can't, you can delve into the specs and everything you want, but like I said, it all boils down to personal choice. So, and Apple is more expensive because they're Apple. They control the hardware, they control the software. Their reputation alone, much higher quality computers. The customer service is second to none. That would probably make me buy. And the fact that you update the OS over and over again, and the computers really don't ever get out of date per se. I mean, if you're doing a lot of graphics intense things, you might need to upgrade, but for the most part, you wouldn't have to do that. And when a new OS X, Apple OS comes out, you probably don't have to worry too much about compatibility with older things. I mean, I'm sure they'll get obsolete eventually, but I would assume there's not that. I haven't seen anything written about. There's the new OS 10, whatever it is, comes out. Now this card doesn't work right, or I'll have to upgrade this, and it doesn't come. It does that with Windows though. Windows 8, a lot of the older stuff doesn't work. In Windows 7, a lot of older stuff didn't work. They try to push you into newer things, make you buy stuff, but that's Windows for you, I guess. Another thing about Macintosh or Apple is they hold their value well, from what I hear. If you had a couple-of-year-old PC, you're not going to be able to get jack squat out of it. But a couple-of-year-old Apple, you'll still be able to get a good price for it because they're still relevant. And they don't get obsolete as fast as PCs do. And of course, the unrivaled customer support from the company. They retain their value even years after their purchase, new. I would consider, if I bought an Apple or a Macintosh, whatever you want to call them, an investment rather than a purchase, because you can, do some basic updates over the years, add a little more RAM, add a better video card, but for the most part, they'll be good for years. So it's an investment because they last a long, long time. There's really no competition. I mean, there's nothing quite like a Mac, so there really can't be any competition. I wouldn't say anything about Hackintoshes because I don't know anything about them, but anything you have to hack together. I don't know if you saw that. Hack together. Can't really compare. And, so that's pretty much how I see things. I know a lot of people have gone over that before, but like I said, you can discuss the specs to death, and you can discuss quality to death, customer service to death. The point is, it's whatever's best for you or the individual particular user. May not be best for another user. I'm pretty sure that they have an Office for Mac. I mean, if that's true, then I could use a Mac easily. I wouldn't need Windows per se. That might be the only sticking point, because I do a lot of, I still get a lot of document files, even though I have OpenOffice on my laptop, and I can use that to open doc files. But so I can pretty much live without Windows now. I mean, I could have a Linux box and a Mac Pro, or a Mac laptop, whatever it's called, and I'd be perfectly fine. I wouldn't need to worry about, updating or having something not compatible. I mean, it'd be trivial if it was, especially video editing. That'd be a plus. Apple's supposed to be unrivaled in video editing capability, so maybe someday I'll be able to figure that out. So anyway, that's how I see things. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and watching more videos on this channel. Thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Remember, I accept all constructive criticism, but I don't acknowledge trolls. Thank you.